welcome to the Explain It podcast with Ingryd Hernandez and Cain. She is on her way. Once again, she's got a little technical difficulties with her camera, but she will be here. Today is a big day. We have an amazing couple with us, and I'm so excited. I'm going to pop them onto the podcast in just a moment and let people catch up. But so excited. If you guys haven't been watching our stories and talking about this amazing couple out of Hawaii, then you are missing out. Hopefully you guys have all gotten your questions ready, especially if you're a wholesaler and you want to do right by your buyers. Today we're going to talk about selling to flippers, like people who actually put their neck on the line, making these communities beautiful and all the stress that comes with it. I had a little PTSD watching the Renovation Aloha show on HGTV because things were happening and I'm like, oh my God, what a stressful moment. So hi, Yvette. I see you out there. Hi, Michelle, Armando. Yes, Renovation Aloha is an amazing show. Okay, we got our girl. We got the Ginger, Cain. Hi, young lady.
Hello. I am always having, I don't know what happened. The Apple update messed me up. But anyways, hello. How's it going, Ingryd?
Good. I was just letting the people know that backstage we have the amazing couple, Kamohai and Tristyn. And like I was catching up on their Renovation Aloha show, which I was just finishing saying that was giving me some PTSD, because if you have flipped a house, you realize how much is involved. But I will say, flipping in Hawaii is a whole different animal, because I was paying attention to the things that they have to care for. And I'm like, wow, we do not have to do those things. So I'm excited about asking them a few questions after watching their show.
I think they're probably blowing things out of proportion. Hawaii sounds like it's really easy to do anything. So
totally. I mean, I'm sure they get materials there in time all the time.
Oh yeah, they probably just grow everything on island. I bet nothing has to be imported.
Totally.
I think I saw Tristyn making door hinges herself. I think they have child labor things with their kids. They're putting them to work. I'm excited to hear what they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So shall we have them up?
Let's bring them on up here so they can. Actually, I kind of like just saying stuff where they can't dispute it in the backstage. What else should we say about them? Kamohai is only 5'5", guys. So that means Tristyn is only 2 feet tall. Just so you guys know. So when you look at them on TV, they're little people.
Oh my God.
Y'all are hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for coming. This is awesome. I'm so excited to have you guys on. I know you guys were talking with Ingryd the other day. I was like, dude, let's just bring them on the podcast and chat with them. So first, I just want to know, how do you guys get things off of the top shelf?
Him. I just use my guy here.
or she jumps on my shoulders. We have been known to do that.
I have been known to jump on a countertop or two to get what I need. You know what I mean?
I used to do that too. I've been there, done that.
Cool. By the way, Mark had me write a couple of questions he had as we were watching the show.
Oh, no way.
He was like, do they have a step stool that they officially have everywhere they go, so that when Tristyn goes to job sites that, like, you know, we can make sure she can get to where she needs to.
That's classic. We have a step stool every single time we do interviews because our height difference is too crazy. So she's actually standing on like a foot step stool when we're doing interviews. Classic.
Because it's not like the cameras are like this, and like, guys, we can't do this. It's not. This is not cohesive. We can't get you both in frame here.
I want to see one where they just have it on Kamohai and they have to pan down.
Go down.
Yeah, I know.
That's Tristyn's opinion on this.
There was one shot where, like, Kamohai, you were like really, let's see, where's my screen? Like really high up, and all we saw of Tristyn was just her head.
Yeah.
That was like cut off. You were like, here, like this. And me and Mark, and then we started cracking up because
that's
like,
my life. And then if they run the words on like the screen or something, you can't even see me. You just, like very tip top of my head like that.
No
problem.
Hey, who travels on an airplane better though? Who has a better time while traveling on an airplane?
Me. Totally me. I can sit anywhere and find some some position that's comfortable. Like I can fully extend my feet, everything.
Yeah, I'm curled up. It depends on how we're flying, but normally I'm just curled up with my knees touching the front seat.
How tall are you? 6'4", you 6'5"?
4.
6'4". My stepdad's 6'7", so anytime we travel anywhere, it was brutal.
Yeah.
6'7". That's crazy. Yeah. I see Ingryd with her phone, so I want to.
So I am letting the people know that they need to be coming onto YouTube and
come on, people.
Our HGTV stars some questions.
While Ingryd does that, I'm gonna get us rocking and rolling because I'm just excited that you guys are on here, and I've told you guys I wanted to come out for your premiere, but I really want to be out there like on 4th of July, like when it's 1,000,000 degrees here. So I'm gonna pepper you guys with some questions because I've had a lot of new people coming in, and I want to make sure they're getting an opportunity to just kind of see, because most people I talk to want to do fix and flipping. I mean, Ingryd's doing fixing and flipping right now. I'm considering a few fix and flips that are coming in my pipeline just because like the numbers are so nice.
Yeah.
But it's not really something I want to do. I mean, it hasn't been my calling. I'd rather get in and out and just wholesale a deal and move on to the next homeowner. So when did you guys start wholesaling? Or fixing and flipping from wholesale? What did you do? Tell us about you besides your height difference.
Height differences? Yeah.
The good question. Very good question.
Yeah. Tell us how did you decide to start making money like this?
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys, like we didn't do the normal progression, I think, of real estate investors and what is normal anyway, but we went straight into fix and flip because the first mentorship that we were a part of was heavy fix and flip focused. And so we just naturally went into that direction. And so wholesale wasn't even like a thought. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so hindsight's always 2020. I think I would have rather wholesaled the first couple of deals that we did, but we're the kind of people where if you give us a roadmap, we're gonna follow it exactly. Like I think that's one of our superpowers that has helped us a lot, you know. And so the mentorship that we joined, that's exactly what they taught, and we did it to a T. They said, go out, get an agent, start making offers on the MLS. Find a deal, fix and flip it. And so that's literally what we did. And that was, I think we didn't wholesale a deal until a few years in.
Yeah, we decided to go nationwide, which was
genius. Guys, everybody, when you're brand new, you should absolutely, as soon as you get started, go nationwide, do deals in Alaska, Hawaii, Indiana.
Oh my gosh.
Gary, Indiana, if you guys are going to start. Gary, Indiana is the best place.
Like what were we thinking? But yeah, we wholesaled on like random spots. North Dakota, or was it South Dakota? I don't know. Some like Hodunk town. I apologize if anyone lives in South Dakota. It's not a Hodunk place.
Yeah.
Texas. Where else? Like just
Ohio, all random spots.
Random.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, compared to Hawaii money, I mean, you guys are like billionaires basically if you look for land in Ohio or North Dakota, right?
And I think that's why you almost get a skewed perception because you're like, oh my God, it's so cheap. You know what I mean? And then in reality, it's like not even a good deal. You know what I mean? But you're like, it's so cheap.
But Hawaii, that's a $3 million house.
Yeah.
That's only $15,000. So
it's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Yeah.
So for all the new people on here, this is your tip. Do not do stuff nationwide. Pick a market, stick with a market, and ask somebody who's been doing it for a while. That's the best way to get started. Just like you, Kamohai, like I'm same way. Show me the roadmap. Tell me what I need to do, and I'm going to go run through that wall. I'm going to run through the brick wall once I know that it's successful and it can pan out. Yeah. So you guys fixed and flipped, and then you considered wholesaling because you heard it was easier and quicker. When did you guys start fixing and flipping, and like when did you guys get started in real estate?
Yeah.
6 years ago, I think. About 6 years ago.
6 years ago, and the first I don't know, maybe 6 months, we were just educating ourselves.
Oh, it's like longer than
maybe
that.
A little longer. Yeah. But we both had other careers. So we were still I ran some retail stores. I had 3 stores with my brother. We had those stores for almost 14 years. And Tris she owns and operates a nonprofit, and that's what she was doing before that. So she actually dragged me to that seminar that we went to. And when we joined, we were still doing the other things and kind of just educating ourselves. And it took us a little while until we actually fully went all in. I would say that was like 2018.
Yeah, between 2018 2019 was very pivotal, where we closed down the retail stores, and it was like, all right, he went all into real estate, and I would say I was like 75% in, because I was still working my W-2 and running the nonprofit. And then we were just making offers on the MLS like consistently, because that's what roadmap we were given at that time was, connect with a investor friendly realtor and just make offers on the MLS. Look for investor special, need major repair, tear down, and just make offers on those. And like, guys, we were literally going to every single house, like walking it ourselves. And
she's laughing for everybody because that's a terrible use of time. That's a terrible use of time. Don't do
it. It is. But we learned so much during that time. We learned what to look for, and we actually found a contractor, not the best one, but at least one that was willing to walk stuff with us and make us look at things. Because like, I was a licensed mental health counselor. He was a retail shop owner. We knew nothing about renovation and condition and what to look for. And then the first house that we flipped was off the MLS, and it was probably the 20th house we looked at in one day. We like started early in the morning and like literally till maybe like 7 o'clock.
We had our regular job, so we would stack all the viewings on the weekend and start in the morning and go look at every single house all day long.
Yeah. And the house that we got was the last house we saw that day in the pitch black, because it didn't have electricity. And of course, that's the one that our offer gets accepted.
Yeah.
And it had no bumps or bruises. It was probably like just shut.
None. It was the easiest thing we've ever done.
Every single thing that could have went wrong on that house went wrong. We had underestimated the rehab budget. We hired the wrong contractor. We ran into issues with the city and permitting, because we didn't even know we needed to pull permits.
That's how naive we were.
So everything went wrong. We ended up breaking even on that deal. We held it 4 times longer than we were supposed to hold it. I think it took us an entire year to do it. It should have taken us 2 months.
And like right when we went to market was March of 2020, I want to say, like February, March. So it's like right when COVID was shutting down the freaking world. And so we're like, great, this is gonna be our last flip. We're gonna lose our ass. Like, it's terrible. You know what I mean? Luckily, we ended up figuring it out and breaking even. But guys, we were so naive. We even just paid our private lenders a flat rate. We didn't even know you had to annualize it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even know we had to. We didn't even know. This is the craziest thing. We closed on the deal. We signed the closing docs to buy it, and I went home and I looked at the docs and I was reading through it, and I realized that we needed to make a $6,000 payment every month.
Interesting.
I didn't know that we needed to make monthly payments. I thought we were going to be able to pay our lender out at the end of the deal when we sold it. So that's how clueless we were, like jumping in head first. It was crazy.
You know what's cool?
Again,
I was just gonna say, like, how much did you guys learn in that first? Like, how much would you have paid to learn what you did in that first deal you accomplished?
Exactly. I would have paid a lot of money.
Invaluable.
If it would have saved us from what we went through. But we always get asked that, like, would we go back and do anything different? The one thing we think that could have saved us tremendously is joint venturing with an experienced investor, because we would have mitigated a lot of that headache, right? Because they had the skill set and the resources that we didn't at that time. You know what I mean? So maybe we would have done that. But at the end of the day, we didn't do that. And we wouldn't change it for the world, because we got a master's degree in flipping on our first flip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dang.
You got like the total opposite spectrum of my first flip.
Of your story. I know. That's why you were telling your story on the pod. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a home run on the first one. Crazy.
But it feels like you probably would have made a whole lot more because you said you didn't know you had to annualize. So did you overpay your private money lenders?
We overpaid them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why we ended up breaking even, because we gave profit away to them, but we have private lenders for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're like, what's your next deal? Can I lend
That conversation wasn't fun because those private lenders were like friends and family.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we didn't want to like go back and be like, hey, actually, we overpaid you.
And I was never going to do that. It was like,
yeah,
that
never.
was our bad, you know?
Yeah. But the silver lining is the education program that we joined taught us how to underwrite deals correctly, right? Because every single thing went wrong and we still didn't lose money on that deal.
Yeah.
Right. And so what that means is, and we always tell people this, it is so important you make the deal on the buy.
Yes.
That is literally where everything happens. And because we underwrote the deal correctly, we didn't lose money.
Yeah.
That is actually that's your first gold nugget of the podcast today, guys. You're making money on the front end of the deal. You have to, don't try and fit a square peg in a round hole. Make sure it actually functions because you held on to it for so long. I wish you guys would have held on to it maybe like 6 more months. You probably would have made even more money just because.
I know we would have totally.
That's
crazy.
But that is a really good tip because Ingrid and I see it. We underwrite deals. People bring stuff to us all the time. I'm sure you guys have people bring you deals and you're like, I think it's a deal. I think it's a deal. And it's not a deal, guys. You got to underwrite and look at things. And that's why, I'm going to transition here to a question for you guys, but it's hard to find deals, guys. It's easy to put anything under contract, but it's hard to actually negotiate and make sure that the numbers work. So that was your first deal that you had fixed and flipped and you listed it in March of 2020?
Yeah, February or March of 2020.
The week before the whole nation shut down.
Yeah.
Okay, so you listed then. How many flips have you guys done since then to now, April 2024?
I don't even know. I should know this number.
Roughly 10.
No, roughly, I think it's like 75 or 80,
something
probably.
Like
yeah.
75 or 80. Are you guys, so now you have a TV show. You're on Renovation Aloha?
Renovation Aloha.
Aloha. Okay. So are you guys looking for more deals right now? Are you constantly fixing and flipping?
Always looking for deals. I think throughout the years, we've figured out what is too many projects at one time and then where our sweet spot is. And I think you only figure that out by doing it. At one time we had over 30 and I was like, oh, this is too much. So our sweet
30
spot.
flips at one point?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
A year. Yeah.
Well, at the same time, you have 30 flips happening at one time?
In all different stages.
At all different
stages. Some are selling, some are just starting, some are midway. You know what I mean?
And that is too much. And so for us, it's never been about quantity. It's always been about the quality of the deal, especially in Hawaii. We have a lot thicker, chunkier margins that we're working with, but our price points are also super high. So our fees are very high and the capital raise is high. So, our sweet spot is between like right around 20 deals a year and we're stoked. Like we're good.
But yes, we are always looking for deals. Always.
Are you ever not looking for deals if you're an investor?
That's the thing. So I want to say this for so many people because I think I called you guys, I texted you guys last week and somebody's like, hey, I'm new, I'm in Hawaii. Like I want to have opportunities. I'm like, it just worked out. You guys were doing a meetup in like 2 hours. I'm like, go to the meetup, go talk to them.
Yeah.
For everybody on here, when you want a JV or joint venture with people who have done it, the biggest thing they want is deals. So understanding what a deal actually looks like is huge. So one thing for me in Phoenix here, and I know with Ingryd, because Ingryd, I'll send deals to Ingryd and see if she'll buy it. What we can do here is whatever my after repair value is. So once my house looks like it's ready to be finished on Renovation Aloha, when it's all pretty, that's called ARV. That's what I know what it can sell for, top dollar. I've had Tristyn and Kamohai go in there and get all the rats out. They've cleaned it up. It's completely done. And somebody wants to move in here. Okay. In Phoenix, I know I can move those deals. Like I'm going to have everybody drooling if I'm giving them a deal like 50, 60% of ARV. So if you're thinking to make it simpler on a dollar, if I can sell a house at 50 to 60 cents on the dollar, oh my gosh, that cash buyer is probably going to take me out to Nobu, buy me some new shoes and all kinds of stuff because it's got a lot of margin. Depending on, this is specific, depending on the amount of work that needs to happen. So Hawaii, say it the right way because I'm white. Tell me how to say the word.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana. I'm from a cornfield. I'm very not cultured. But for you guys, where do you want to be on your margins when you're buying deals? So in case you have like, oh man, we bought a house and there's a tree growing out of it. Like this is going to be more work than we thought. Where do you want to be percentage-wise when people send you deals?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's similar to you with it's obviously depending on how much work the house needs, but we're normally right around 70-75%. I know people here that buy all the way up to like 80%,
Wow.
sometimes 82%. The price points are so much higher, so even at that, the margin's still like 100 grand sometimes. You know what I mean? But we're normally looking at what our total return on investment is, and we normally want to be at like 13 or 14% on that number. But if I'm just like throwing out a good number, we want to be like 75%, I would say.
So for new people, because whenever people talk and say that, I had no idea what they were saying. I was like, great. So whatever the renovation Aloha number is that they can sell the house for, they want to just make 13 to 14% of whatever that number is. Correct? Did I miss anything?
Correct. So
say it's $1 million home. You're trying to look for a profit of 13% of $1 million. 14. The higher margin they can make on that, the more likely they're going to be like, hi, where's my next deal? Please send me more. So my next question for you guys, because you're constantly looking for deals. Are you guys doing another season? Do you guys know yet? Are you allowed to say that?
Not allowed to talk about that.
Confirm or deny.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it off record afterwards. But so what you guys can do, or this is what I'm curious about, because you guys this is your business. You guys fix and flip. You guys have the crews. You know what to look for. You've got a routine going. You got a nice groove. I'm on mainland. I don't know what to look for in Hawaii. If I find something, can I bring it to you? And since you are Chief Kamohai's son, can you help me talk to the homeowner and potentially negotiate this? And I can just get a fee and learn from you. Is that a possibility?
Dude.
And it's happened.
100%. We actually, I mean, that's my favorite thing to do. And so, I mean, just a specific example, we had a good friend in SubTo. He randomly got a lead in one of my hometowns in Kaneohe, and that's where we do a lot of deals. But he's like, hey, I don't even know this market. I think this could be a deal. Do you want it? Like, basically just like, hey, can you call this seller? I just had one contact with her and she said she wanted to sell her house, but I haven't done anything further. And I was like, yes, I will. And I talked to the seller, we negotiated, went out there. Like, it took a little while, but we locked up the contract and I cut him a pretty big check just for sending me the lead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yes, we do that all the time. The cool thing too is like, I'll actually talk to you if you're like very interested in the process that I utilize. And we can work through that. Like, I'll teach you what I say. I'll talk you through all of that stuff as well, if your goal is to actually learn. So yeah, we love that and welcome it for sure.
That's a pro tip. I just sold a deal to somebody and I was like, I wanted to make content on it. So I said, all right, if I work this deal with you, will you let me shoot content with you afterwards once you finish fixing it up? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, all right, bet, done deal. So guys, when you're people want them to continue, like fix and flippers want deals to keep coming in their pipeline. They want to keep them going. And that is like a pro tip. Can you tell me why you're underwriting this way? How do I know how can I not waste your time again next time, Kamohai? What should I look for when I'm underwriting this deal? What is the big ticket item that I need to be aware of so it doesn't crush the deal? And I think buyers will do that. Ingrid, I feel like you were about to ask something.
Yeah, I was going to say, so like trying to study, the differences between what you guys have to worry about versus what we have to worry about. Like, here's what I took away. You guys, for the most part, are always looking at needing either to do foundation repair or actually replacing the foundation. You have to do termite like control, whether it's before, during, or especially, it seems like it's an after thing every single time, right? You're tenting.
Yeah, we tent every house.
We don't have to necessarily worry about here. And then what's crazy is like, I was curious about your value adds. Like you have to, I just watched your episode 4. And you guys added more square footage. But I also know politically, because I watch all the stuff you guys post on how hard it is to get permits. So I'm just curious, like how you manage across that as well. So there's all these costs and costs. Like I'm just And by the way, another thing I really, really love about your show is that you guys don't just gloss over that stuff. You actually say, look, here's my holding costs and my closing costs.
Yeah.
And girl, we had to
digits.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Every time. And we had to fight for that because we were like, no, if you're going to come into the business and showcase the investor side of things to the world, like people can't think it's sales price minus renovation equals profit, because that's just not what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that we won that they showcase those numbers.
Yeah. And you're right. You pointed out all the things that we have to deal with that not necessarily everybody has to deal with in their specific market. And that's it's a good tip is every market is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every area is different. There's a lot of commonalities between a lot of things, but you have to become like an expert and really clear on your local market. And the things that we always have to deal with foundation issues, because most of our houses are built on post and pier. Mm-hmm. You guys have houses slab on grade. Like there is no post and pier here, right? Yeah. And so all our houses were built that way. So over time, the land moves and there's settling issues. So almost every house has to get jacked up and leveled.
And not to mention, like a lot of these houses that are on post and pier, right? There's termite pens. And if there is no termite pens, then the termites just go straight up and eat all that wood. And now have a very structurally compromised foundation. And so like, we're always checking that stuff because out of experience, your home inspector, when you get the property under contract and you're going to sell it, they're going to look under the house and they're going to make sure that the buyer, as the buyer should, get a solid foundation that's safe for their family. You know what I mean? And like another thing that I remember, I was having a conversation with someone else in Arizona, and they're like, wait, where's your ducting for your AC? I'm like, we don't have that. We don't have that here. We don't have central AC systems. We don't. We have splits, or we have wall units that are just in your window or mounted
or fans.
Or fans. Yeah. It's so funny. Like, and we also don't have tons of basements here. I mean, there's like some that are below grade, but they're still not really considered a basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The permit thing is crazy here. They're trying to like really reform it, but I would say that we have the worst, longest permitting thing
I would
ever
say in the nation.
Yeah.
So
like
the worst.
A typical addition alteration permit will take 8 months to get
on the quick end.
On the very quick end, and can go as much as 2 years. We just got permits done for my parents' house, and it took 2 years to get those permits.
And they're adding a second story and a pretty big lanai off the side of their home. And so it's actually very political here, and it's actually a big issue. But I think the key is understanding the system and having the resources to continually follow up. It's just like with our leads, right? Follow up. It's the same thing. Like, you need to be following up. Put your permit on a drip campaign. I'm telling you, because if you're not, you're going to go to the bottom of the stack and you're going to be waiting years and years. So I think the team and the resources that we've been able to build just in the past 6 years has been monumental. So having a solid contractor that knows the inspectors in your area and has good relationships with them, having a solid draftsman that literally can go down to DPP and move the permit and answer and is following up. If there's comments on your permit, he's going to address them really quickly, and he answers his phone. That's a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's really a lot of people are like, how are you guys getting your permits so fast? And that's TV magic. We're not. We're not getting we're not. We're not. We're going.
I think the fastest
like
one that we got from the show is like 6 months, I think 6 or 7 months. And then all the way up to like 13 months. But we started this process with the TV production company 3 years ago.
I was just asking you guys last summer, and you're like, we're filming.
You remember.
Yeah, you're like,
so
we gotta get back because we're still filming. So it's crazy how long it takes to get all fully produced. Are you guys still filming right now?
No, we're done with season 1. But we filmed all last year. what you guys are seeing on HGTV now.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is actually, wait, should I say it? The actual triple digit flips. Because every single deal is like, over $100,000 that I watched so far.
Yeah, they're not all that way, but most of them usually are.
And that's our criteria, honestly, because it's like we're gonna play with this extra zero on the end. Like our minimum requirement has to be $100,000 to do that deal.
Here's my question for you: how much is a gallon of milk right now in Hawaii?
Oh, dude, $6.50.
See, so there you guys go. So you're like, man, they're making triple digit flips, but you don't know how much their milk is and everything. It's gonna get you.
It's wild.
How much is it in Arizona?
I don't buy milk, Ingryd.
What's your guys median home price?
It's over 50.
150,000.
Okay. Yeah,
where I'm from in Indiana.
1.1.
Oh wow, Indiana or Nebraska. Where I'm from in small town Indiana, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, moderately updated, pretty good shape, 142,000.
Wow.
But
that's what does Indiana.
But here's the thing: we don't have mountains, we don't have beaches, and high school I super glue quarters to the ground to Walmart and watch people pick them up. Like that's what I did for fun. I talked to somebody
oh my gosh, that's
high school,
awesome.
I hadn't seen forever, and we're like catching up, and I was like, how would you explain what we did for fun in high school? Because like you can grow up in a small town, you're like, we're cool, and he's like, light acts of vandalism, like we'd egg people and TP.
Oh my gosh.
There's just nothing to do where I'm from, so that's
so funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
That's really, I was trying to bring up your show right here really quickly. I do have HBO, so I'll watch it later, but I know Ingryd brought up the renovations you guys are doing, and I can see some of them right here. So this is your first one that had the tree in it.
Yeah, that's the pilot.
Tree house.
That's the pilot, guys. We actually shot that one in 2022.
Oh, I can't pull it up. In 2022, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So how long did this one take to complete?
The actual renovation part was not that long. A couple months. But what people don't know about that house is we didn't have electricity the entire time we did that house.
We did the whole renovation on a generator.
I thought you guys were going to talk about that in the show, because I remember you saying that to me, and then I was like, oh, this is the treehouse, the biggest pain in the butt one. And then I was like, I didn't mention that.
That hit the cutting room floor. There's so much stuff that you talk about and it doesn't make the episode, but so we did that entire renovation on a generator because the house was abandoned for like 20 plus years. And so Hawaiian Electric, the electric company here, literally pulled the meter off the house. And so that actually took a long time to work with Hiko and Hawaiian Electric to get the meter put back on the house so that we can actually have electricity. So that took longer, honestly, than the whole renovation was just to get electricity. So,
and what you did to that house was so dope. Like,
thank you.
You I don't know if I should share, but let's just
say you got to watch it.
That house was crazy.
And I was like,
oh man.
They should have told me about this. We would have lived on one side.
There you go. House hacked it.
It would have been a great house hack. It really would have. Yeah.
We almost kept that house. We were this close
to
just refining it and keeping it.
Yeah.
But we found a better opportunity and kept that one. So
how many houses do you guys have right now that you've kept? What makes you decide you're going to keep it or sell it?
I mean, if we can keep it for little to no money out of our pocket, and it's gonna at least break even in Hawaii on Oahu, then we'll keep them.
Location, I think I also look at midterm rental rates. I look at Section 8 rates. So it kind of depends on if it's going to be able to cover the mortgage. And so if there's ability to make it a multifamily situation or a more than one unit situation, then it's more enticing for us to keep.
That's the hardest part about here is we're a high equity appreciation market. We're not a cash flow market, like at all in any area of Oahu. And so if we end up keeping a house, normally we're value adding. So we're building that equity and appreciation in the house, but we're also cutting it up into like 3 or 4 different rentals. So we can actually still break even or cash flow.
It's the only way you really can here. Unless you're on the Big Island. So we like to keep a lot of stuff in Hilo, specifically because the price point is a lot lower. So it's so much easier to cash flow there.
But how many houses have we kept on Oahu?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know, 10. I don't
on Oahu, and then probably the same amount on Big Island.
Yeah, but we really like Florida too. So we're building a small portfolio in Florida. So we have a fourplex in Florida. We just bought a triplex, specifically in Jacksonville. We have an Airbnb in St. Aug. We have a SubTo in Tallahassee, kind of in the Gets, but
super Gets.
You guys just like termite houses.
Termite, I know.
We just like I like Florida. I love
Humidity.
Yeah.
I'm learning your language too, because you're like cherry, and I was like,
cherry. Yeah.
I learned pow, like
Pow.
you're done, right?
Yep. All done. All pow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also gave you a definition of she, which is literally going to urinate in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. You don't realize that you have, these little quirks and daily things that you say until I still cringe seeing myself on TV, guys. I'm like, oh, I really said that. Oh man,
it's weird.
My daughter came into the house and she saw you because obviously she's met you, and she's like, "Hey,
yeah."
She's like so excited to see you guys on TV. So you may be cringing, but if my 14-year-old thinks you look cool up there, you're good. You're good.
Oh,
you're good.
Yay! I get the teenage approval.
That's pretty cool. So, all right. So you guys are doing all these flips. You do have some properties that you're keeping.
Yes.
Curious, if you were going to get started again today, knowing what you know now, what would you do first?
I definitely wholesale first.
Yeah.
Why
I think
would
I
you
would
wholesale first?
Just to build up capital, dude.
Yeah.
When we started, we were in debt. We had like negative money. You know what I mean? And like we flipped our way out of debt and into home ownership, but that's like the way riskier way to get out of debt.
It's riskier and it took longer and it was harder, I would say. I think that we could have wholesaled and got to where we wanted to be quicker. We could have done it quicker. Like we could have wholesaled that first deal for 50 grand. Like I'm not, without a shadow of a doubt, we could have easily wholesaled it for 50 grand.
Totally.
And all we really needed was to build a little bit of capital. I think we would have got to where we wanted to go so much faster.
So much faster.
Yeah.
Less risk,
but let's
less
pause
stress.
for a moment, because you guys have only been doing this 6 years, you said, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
6 years.
Tiny little years. I know.
That's not a lot.
No, it's not.
And so for me, I think there's a book, and I still haven't read it. It's called like The Gap in the Gain.
Mm-hmm.
Gap in the Gain.
Yeah, especially when you have like high performing personalities like yourselves. You're like, man, I could have like gone 100 miles faster.
Yeah.
But the reality is you've done a ton in 6 years. Like when you start looking back at how many properties you've kept, how many flips you've actually done. Like Caroline asking you, like, how many flips have you actually done? And you can't even answer.
I know.
Yeah.
We should be able to answer.
Yeah.
We should.
No, but so I don't see that as a negative. I see that as such a positive, that you've done so much in such a short amount of time. And also that you're not keeping, like, you're not like, what's that called when you do like the little 5 little lines and you're like
score.
Oh yeah.
Like your score is so much different. Like one of the things I really love about the show, and the part that tugs at my heartstrings more, and hopefully if you guys all watch Renovation Aloha, go watch it, that you guys incorporate your sellers where you can and how much you actually care. Like Mark even mentioned, my husband, right? He's like, wow, you guys like saved that American flag for that seller. You incorporated the mango tree for the seller who was super emotional about her parents' house. And I was just like, this is why we do this. It's not just, these numbers that you're tracking. It's the human component, the blessing to the houses, the making sure that like you're actually creating more community, and it's something to be super proud of. So
yeah, you said that so well.
Yeah, I absolutely love that you pointed that out, because I think it is easy. And I think for a lot of people, when you're getting started, it really is like, I just need to get out of debt. Like I need to crawl my way out. I need to make some money. But what you'll realize is, and especially in real estate, that if you want to truly grow and be sustainable long-term, it's so much more about relationships and people and purpose and passion, right? And that is really what is going to propel you forward and keep you going for a super long period of time. Because at the end of the day, especially on the acquisition side, we're dealing, yes, we have to know our numbers, but we're dealing with people that have major issues and problems. And sometimes we have to put on that counselor hat, and we really have to dig into what's going on, and see how we can best serve people. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that the show allowed us to really talk about that and show that, because I don't think a lot of people think about that when they hear about real estate, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're just taking houses, fixing them up, but there's so much more. There's a huge human component, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing about it in Hawaii, we're on an island. We're small. I always say real estate different in Hawaii, because it's very unique. Like, yes, I know that these same kinds of issues are everywhere around the United States, but in Hawaii, there's something called coconut wireless, right? And your reputation is literally everything, right? And so not only do you do it because you're a good person and that's what you hold yourself to high values, but you also do it because that seller is going to tell their auntie's uncle's friend that also has a house that they need help with. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that was a special part of the show, and I'm so happy that they were able to share that.
I'm glad you guys even brought that up, because I talk about it a lot. I mean, I'm on like 1,090,000 Zooms, so I bring it up all the time. But for everybody on here, I hope you heard, like, it touched Ingryd and her husband. How many other people do you think are watching the show and they're like, wow, like they truly care? And that's sometimes the difference of why people want to work with you. Like, they could potentially make money with somebody else, but you've heard them out. You're listening to their problem. You're probably going above and beyond serving them. And that's what can be the difference maker for you to get a property and set it up so another family can go own it and have a new future with it. Or you can turn it into a multi-purpose property with multiple families in there that can make it affordable, which is so huge. And one other thing, I was just talking to somebody who's like, yeah, they really want to get into this because they want to make money, but they don't have an ultimate purpose. So I pulled up your Instagram. I was looking at, I love all the pictures you have on here. What else do you guys do in your community? Because I know we kind of talked about this when you guys were here for the mastermind. Your dad's kind of a big person in the community. How has being so active in your community and helping, like, do you give back? How do you give back? How has that impacted not only like your personal life and your business life?
Oh, man. We feel like, when we first got started in real estate, right, it was literally just trying to dig ourselves out of like desperation. But once you get to a place, it's like, now it's your responsibility to share everything that you can and how you did it. Because I know that there's a ton more Tristyn and Kamohais walking around that are feeling the same way and searching for something. And so I think it just is a no-brainer where we were like, we need to share everything we can with open arms. And that's why Deals and Aloha was created, what you see behind us. It was like, because when we first started, there were meetups, but you weren't allowed to go if you didn't do a certain amount of deals. It was very, there was gatekeeping. It was close to the chest. It was the opposite of abundant. And we're like, F that, dude. Like, I want to create something exactly the opposite of that. So Deals and Aloha, we're like, we're going to hold meetups. We held them at our own. And then it was like, dude, we need to feature other people. Because believe it or not, you guys, we actually don't like being in the spotlight of we don't. Like, I would rather elevate other people, but that's how you perpetuate that culture of abundance and community, is to elevate everyone around you. And then that's why we started the podcast, like, let's bring people onto the podcast. Let's bring all of our homies. It started with our friends, and then it just morphed into just business owners and entrepreneurs, because Hawaii isn't on the map in the way that it should be. It's on the map for tourism, but what about the born and bred local people here that are just amazing and sharing our culture and perpetuating aloha and are just so talented and so creative and are thriving? Like, I want Hawaii to be on the map for those things. And so that's why the podcast was created, and we're just getting started, you know what I mean? And obviously we have big shoes to fill when it comes to like our parents and your father, and like we have nothing but role models that have paved the way before us. And so it's really cool to now be collaborating with them and having our family so involved in our business. It's challenging, obviously, when you work with family because there's a variety of dynamics that come into play, but it's also the most rewarding thing ever to work and build alongside your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that translates to how you were also raised, you know, like the fact that there's patience, there's love, there's kindness. You can totally tell. I think it's why you guys are so much our vibes, right? Like it's why I love Caroline. Like one of her, and I think we talked about this on your podcast, right? Like me, somebody who reveres acts of service is someone that I'm going to be way more attracted to. And like that's why Caroline's such a great podcast partner of mine, because you know I love her regardless of the podcast, because that's how she thinks. She thinks with her heart. Like, how do we help our sellers? How do we help new investors who want to learn how to wholesale, how to flip? And that type of personality, like you'll have much richer relationships and be able to actually incorporate them into your life like you have with your family, you know, and that's just speaks to your upbringing. Yeah,
totally.
I think that's why we're so lucky that we found real estate as our vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
I just don't see any other path that where you can literally build generational wealth, like a lot of it for your family. But then right alongside that, you can impact people's lives and change them forever.
Totally.
It's like the emerging of the two things that are most important to us, you know? And so, I mean, I don't know. I'm
I have
biased,
another idea for you. I think you guys have already maybe you've already started thinking about this, because Tristyn, your style and your design totally comes through with how you're flipping. In the back of my head, I'm like, you have to be thinking about, you know, exclusively branding like some tiles and textiles and things like that, because it makes a lot of sense. Like I love the wall that you guys did that actually used the Hawaiian, like it was like coconut.
Yes, wasn't it
like
so
coconut
sick?
husk?
It was
it's so cool.
I love
for me, I'm like, you guys should be running like a designer warehouse sort of thing and manufacturing some of these textiles that are maybe more.
I'm working on it, girl.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
anyways.
no, I mean, but I mean, that was part of the reason why we did the show, right? Like, it wasn't to be on TV. Being on TV was never on the goal board or the vision board or whatever it was never in the cards. But when we sat down and we looked at each other and it was like, we have this opportunity. God brought this opportunity for a purpose. It's our responsibility to walk through it. But like, what's that gonna do? What's the purpose? And it was like to do 10x what we're doing now, you know what I mean, and get to where we want to go quicker. And so we actually just started a design build construction company where we're able, because so many times we got, you know, people in the DMs like, hey, can you renovate my house? Hey, can you renovate my house? And as a flipper, it's like, that's not what I do. You know what I mean? But it's like, why are we saying no? We should be saying yes. So now we get to say yes, because now we have the capacity to do it. So that's fun. Like, we're doing Zooms with potential customers every week now. And so it's only a matter of time before we're able to just take on our first client, and it'll be so fun. But another huge passion, you guys, is selling properties off market. So like, you know, we buy properties off market all the time. Why can't we do it on the back end too? Why do we have to list it and drive up prices and pay commissions? We love our realtors, and nothing against our realtors, but like, we see it as a vehicle or a way to keep more local families home and housed, is being able to sell. And the house, it reminded me, because you just brought up a house where we house a local family. And so it's like, we're able to broadcast it on our social platforms. People that are interested, it fits the mission, because we're able to house local families. We're also able to keep it relationship focused, which when we go to market, you know, we don't get to meet those people. We don't get to hand over keys and bless the house directly with them. And there's something that just gets missed. And so we're able to cut out commissions, keep the price of the home lower. Like, for example, we just sold one. It's crazy. I'm selling them to all my classmates, my Kalama classmates. It just works out that way. The universe is funny. So see, Kalama wasn't that bad. We were able to buy houses.
True.
where if we took it to market, it would have been sold for 1.3, but we were able to sell it to them for $100,000 less because it was direct to buyer. And there's nothing more rewarding than blessing a house with that family and handing over keys. And
I'll tell you a quick, really, really cool one that we sold off market. And this story is unreal. So we sold a house off market to a local family that owns a business. It was in a nice neighborhood. And we sold it probably 300 grand below market value. Now I'm talking about a house that's 2.3. We probably could have sold it for close to 3 million, 275, 2.8. Right. But like we were making our margin. They needed their house. It was one of 20 houses. And for us, it's like, what's the mission? Let's keep them going. Let's house these families and then let's move on. They ended up buying the house. A year later, they went to the bank, got a HELOC. I don't know exactly how much it was for, but they lent us that money and became our private money lenders.
The HELOC must have been a good amount because they lent us double six figures.
Full circle moment. How crazy cool is that?
And now they're our friends.
Now they've become our friends. Yeah, it's super cool.
And they believe in what we did. And there's nothing more rewarding than like the people that live in your finished product, that love your home, that want to like keep perpetuating that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I understand. So you fixed and flipped a house. Mm-hmm. Instead of listing it on a market, you went directly to the buyer. You sold it to them.
Yep.
You guys had such great energy. You blessed the house with them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They went over and they borrowed money against their house to lend it to you.
Yeah. They became our lenders. And now they've lent on a bunch of deals, and they're like, they wanna one day become like do some things like what we're doing, and so we're walking them through the process. We're both making money at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They're lending and learning, and it's freaking magical. It's crazy.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's incredible. And that's really cool because you're doing it all like with locals, the people you go into high school as well, and just some people there. That's really neat because you're creating more opportunity for the people that are from Hawaii when like everybody else is doing it.
And I mean, talking about the opportunity, now these people are walking into equity immediately, right? Because they bought it below market value. And so they can go get a HELOC, do whatever they want, and then they can continue to grow wealth and expedite that. So like that's opportunity right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Isn't it amazing? Like this was very reminiscent of a story that Michael Franke recently had, where he had to he felt the I'll say obligation to help a gal out. Mm-hmm. He was going to, what he thought was going to happen was have to go into it $60,000 more, because that's what he had promised, that he was going to help her. And then like eventually the next day or two found out that it got cleared, and like the universe sort of like worked in his favor. Wow. Because he surrendered to what he thought was going to be a much tougher situation. And then for me, you guys walked away from being able to make a whole lot more money, but you decided that your principle and your purpose was more important, and the universe rewarded you. And so like
brought it back. It's exactly it.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
But it always does. It always does. And I feel like when you're mission driven and you're people driven, the money just comes. Do you know what I mean? And comes in other ways, and you're going to be just fine. And you're going to live in abundance because you're the one perpetuating that too. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. That's so awesome.
I saw this question from Elena. Elena's on here. Ask her on here as well. She said, what's after flipping? Development? Like, what are you wanting to do? Like,
yeah. I think we'll never stop flipping just because there's so much love behind it. I think we just love good transformation. And I just don't want to flip because it's a necessity. I just want to flip because it's fun. And so I see us going into small multifamily. I'm really not interested in like massive 500, 600,000 unit. I'm more interested in like 50 and below with like a couple partners and doing that. So small multifamily, I see us doing more education. There's not a lot of education available here on Hawaii. We always have to go to the mainland for it. So if I can bring it, we can bring it here. That's a focus of ours. Just building more businesses. Like we just started a midterm and short-term rental management company because out of need. So anywhere we can vertically integrate is what we want to do. So just adding more stuff onto that.
Yeah, I like the small multifamily development here in Big Island or on Oahu with Bill 7. It's like a specific bill that we can use. And yeah, anything to hold, right? And I think that's the thing. Like right now, I mean, can't joke around about it, but flipping is a job. It's a freaking active business, right? Like it is full time, and we have a team, and it's still nonstop. You know what I mean? And so I really, really dream of the day where we don't have to flip anymore to keep our business going and growing, right? And where we can flip houses because like a great deal came across and
let's do that.
Right. We're going to do it. Or if we're still filming a TV show and we need to, kind of a thing, you know? But yeah, I think the next steps are really potentially some development, but in my head, I'm like, how do we educate the most amount of local people? You know what I mean? So I'm thinking about like bigger events here on Oahu. There's never events on Oahu ever. Bigger events, more opportunity to show people what financial education is, how you can buy a house. Like we don't learn about money. I don't think anywhere really does. But in Hawaii, it's like very shameful to talk about money in our culture. So our people are very undereducated when it comes to investments, financial literacy. And then the ultimate goal is to try and figure out how we can keep Hawaii affordable, you know, at some level, some affordable housing stuff. I know Trist still sits on the board of her nonprofit, and we want to figure out how to merge the two worlds, right? Where the nonprofit is coming into the real estate space in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, like, there's so many different ways, but it's like, I can't be squirrel about it. Like, I got to narrow it in. Is that like buying land and like building a treatment facility that also has halfway houses? Or is it just buying up properties where you can rent out per bed, like clean and sober housing? Like, what does that look like? And so I think will become crystal clear when God tells me that it's time.
Yeah, there's a ton of opportunity with that, because her nonprofit now, Kokua Support Services, they do outpatient treatment services, like manage representative payee stuff. So like there's that population needs housing. Let's figure out how to make that happen.
Always will, yeah. So yeah, I mean, and honestly, anything that's can produce passive income is where our attention will go. Obviously, you know what I mean.
Well, you guys need Mayor Caroline to come and speak at your event in Oahu.
Yes, see, there you go.
You're one of the first calls. Let me tell you.
I'm telling you, trying to come out in July. Let's go jump out of some airplanes or go scuba diving, and then we'll come back.
I'm down.
Let's go. Yeah.
I'm down.
Can you both come out in July?
Yeah. Let's go. Go. Well, I don't have a W-2 anymore.
Yeah. See, there you go.
I do know somebody was asking a question about, you know, we learned about each other in the creative finance world mentorship. So I think I actually just helped Tedeva through her SubTo. She was
amazing. Yeah.
So have you guys done any sub-twos for any of your flips, like and leverage that way of taking over a property?
Not for flips, but for rentals. Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't prefer a good sub-2 of seller finance or a combo of the two, you know? But not for flips. No, not a sub-2 for a flip. A lot of our flips are always cash, so hard money, private money. But sub-2s for rentals all day long.
Yeah, I mean, just for us personally, I mean, if I can buy it cash, I'm going to buy it cash. It's like the easiest thing, right? So that's always our first shot.
Yeah.
And if we can get it at that price, then we're going to get it at that price.
Well, and that's how you're taught, right? Like always present the cash option first. And so yeah.
Well, I'm doing a SubTo right now, and we were able to offer the seller $10,000 more than his highest cash offer because he's willing to do SubTo. So just I think there's a time and a place, but I think
I totally think
competitive. It's
I agree. I 1000% agree. I think in Hawaii with the price points that we're dealing with, it's hard because the amount of difference that we'd be able to offer on a SubTo compared to a cash offer sometimes isn't enough for the seller to make sense of it. But if I could do, I don't know. We've just never had any opportunities to like SubTo.
Just start pitching them.
But I do know people. I do know people that have done them here, and they do that. That's like a strategy that they use. So
yeah. Very cool.
One thing I wanted to bring up before we wrap up, because I have to call somebody who's not helping one of my homeowners. For everybody, if you're not already on Instagram with them, this is why Instagram is so great. Think of it as a business card, but on their Instagram, they have a link tree right here. So if you click on that link tree, it'll bring you to this page. And this is where you can see, this is how you get their buyers list.
Things.
Yeah, all our stuff.
Yeah, all of the stuff. Looks like you guys got a mentorship coming in the pipeline, but all kinds of stuff in here. So you guys can connect with them outside of here if you want to rent their Airbnbs, all the things. So use Instagram, guys. Use those opportunities for people to see you. And that's how you can connect with Tristyn and Kamohai. I mean, how many kids do you guys have? You have like 17 kids or something?
Heck no, girl. I'm done after 2.
2 kids. 2 kids.
2 kids, 20 flips a year. They got a lot going on, but this is how you can connect with people outside of here. But I think actually I should have kept sharing it because you guys did have your buy box on here. There we go. Is it the one that says got a deal?
Yeah.
Got a deal. Well, I mean, it's just a form you can reach out on.
But this is how you'd be able to shoot. So if you guys find anything in Hawaii, this is how you're able to send it over to them.
Yeah.
And you respond?
Yeah. 100%. Like those things pop up notifications immediately on my phone. And I am a true believer, as anyone should, that, you got to be speed to the lead is always the most important thing. I think it's hard for a lot of people too. Like they just can't get that through their brain, but definitely reach out there. Or if you DM, we're still like looking at all our own DMs.
Guys,
I think
our social media is us. No one manages it yet but us. But so I mean, when you're getting a response, it's literally he or I. And I would love for you to guess who it is, because they can never figure it out. It's a mystery. Who is responding to you?
That's a good point. I like that. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. You answered my question at the beginning, and I hope everybody really took that apart. If they would have restarted today, they would have started wholesaling so they could stack cash. I mean, I'm glad you guys learned what you did and you know now, but the stress, the being in debt, like the
responsibility, the headaches, the risk, the weight that you have to carry. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's like that. What's that meme where the dog has everything on fire around it? You're like, everything's fine. You just stressed out because all the deals are happening.
How we live constantly. That's it right there. It's a perfect example.
Investor life is that.
Crazy.
That is that 100%. If you guys don't know what it is, it's let me open it up just so everyone can see it. I think it's just a funny freaking picture. But guys, don't stress it at the beginning. If you have a deal in Hawaii, make sure you bring it over to Tristyn and Kamohai. So you're not stressed out like this, like we were. I really do appreciate you guys coming on. Ingryd, I'm so glad that you were able to connect with them last week. And the one thing, Ingryd told me you guys are just like, I'm going to just say what Ingryd told me you guys said. She's like, man, I'm really impressed at how like focused you've been. And I heard you say that as well, Tristyn, like got to get your ducks in a row before you can go and attack something. So everybody in here, if you're watching this or if you're watching their TV show, this wasn't an overnight success. I mean, I guess it was an overnight success over 6 years. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
It takes a minute. You're not going to get the groove immediately, but joining somebody, partnering with them, asking them questions, there's never a bad time to ask a question. Just shoot the shot, be polite, ask, like connect on a human level. And I even wrote down your people, purpose, passion. I really like that. I'm going to bring that up to my team. Things, but serve. And from your service, look how many other opportunities have come your way. And good karma, man. Look at all the good stuff.
Dude, exactly. But you said it. It's like you think that, people are always like, oh, well, what is abundance? What is abundance? And it's like giving, and the universe will give it back to you, but it might not be the way that you thought it was going to give it back to you, because it's going to be a completely different opportunity that's going to blow your freaking mind. But you got to be open to it, right? And you got to constantly just be, nope, abundant, give.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming in here.
Yeah, this was fun.
That was so much fun.
All right. What I wanted to just real quick, like, let's say recap. Caroline said you'd wholesale for it to start, but know your buyers' buy boxes. All right. So when you're selling to flippers, know that every flipper has a different need. So flippers that are flipping in Hawaii are doing things a little bit more different. They don't have to worry about ductwork like they do here in Arizona. Ductwork is expensive, by the way, guys. And again, and you hear this a lot, real estate is a relationship-based business. So those were my recaps from this, right? On top of the 3 Ps, but like, know who you're servicing, whether that's seller or a flipper, and understand those nuances, get to know the buy boxes, and make sure, like, hey, for me, I think it always works better that way, knowing who's going to buy your stuff first. And if it fits that box, I mean, it should be that easy.
Boom.
Yeah, 100%.
I 100% agree.
I don't know if you guys have met, Jason just popped in here. You need to connect with Jason Lombardi. He's one of my closers on the Daily Dial, but dude, he's selling all kinds of deals in Venice Beach in Florida. So just south of Tampa.
Nice.
Jason,
yeah. I do know. We do know each other. He's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jason, add them to your buyers list because they're buying in Florida. So he'll get you all of your he'll get you fix and flips more than anything. But
nice.
Saw that he popped in here. Oh, look, see, he's got one now.
Jason.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Well, guys, what is it? It's only 2:00 in Hawaii.
Yeah, but
2:00.
we still got several meetings to go.
Yeah,
and
we have to fly out tonight to LA to go to Newport for an event but we're flying back on Friday morning.
It's a quick one. It's literally like just
for the show,
one night, and then we're flying back.
Yeah. But I can't wait to see you guys.
Thanks,
I'll text you guys so we can set something up. Come out in July. We'll get together in our group chat. Thank you guys so much, guys. If you've not already, check out Renovation Aloha. You're gonna get mixed up with Deals Aloha at Renovation Aloha. Is it every Thursday? Or is it one Thursday of the month that you guys do Deals in Aloha?
So it's just once a month we do a Deals in Aloha meetup. The next one is April 23rd.
Next week.
No.
Is it like the second week of the month, the third week of the month?
So
normal?
It's normally like the third week of each month, but it's very investor specific, right? So it's depending on that investor that we're showcasing that month and their schedule. But April's Deals in Aloha meetup is Tuesday the 23rd at 10 a.m. and all the info is on our social. And
it's a cool deal because it's a creative one.
Yeah.
It's a SubTo seller finance, and they're keeping it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I'm gonna just throw it up on screen so everybody can see that. But this is on their Instagram, guys. So if you go to Instagram, you can find it. This is how you can connect with people. I would connect with people on the freaking side chat as well. That's the get in the room with people.
Yeah. And guys, Jason is a fellow SubTo student. And he is who we built Collective Stays with. So I mean, there's so much power in relationships.
This is awesome. Guys, I'm excited. I'm coming out. We're going to see you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you get at least like some beach time in before you hit your flight or do something like Hawaiian.
Not going to happen this weekend when we get home.
This weekend, do it for me. So at least upload a picture. Guys, thank you so much.
Right on.
All right. We'll see you later, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Remember, we're here every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Arizona time or 1 o'clock if you're in Hawaii time. Thank you guys for showing up. Bye, everybody.